Hey AfterBuzzers, we're talking Season 6, Episode 10 of New Girl, Christmas Eve Eve. It starts right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Coming down. Well, welcome back, guys. We are here to talk about the Christmas Eve Eve episode of New Girl. Oh, such a feel-good episode. Love, love, love. Anytime Christmas on New Girl is always a success. Love it so much. Thank you guys so much for watching tonight. I'm your host, Nasta. You can find me on Twitter at Nasta and on Instagram at AllieGirl. And Tessa Cavel, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Tessa_Cavel.
Well, thank you guys for joining us tonight. So many great things happened. The episode was a little crazy. There's a little bit of craziness going on, but other than that, there was a lot of feel-good moments as well.
It was such a feel-good episode. It made me so warm and fuzzy inside.
Same. It literally brought tears to my eyes. I'm such a cheeseball, though. Like anything like this, I'm like, Christmas, yes, like bring on the tears. But one really, really exciting thing that we've been waiting for has happened. Reagan returned.
She's finally here. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so obviously she's here. How did you feel about her coming back to the episode, even if it was just for a sweet glimpse?
Well, as I've been wishing for it for 9 episodes now, yes. I was thrilled. I was literally watching the episode and I grabbed Allie's arm. I was so excited. I was like, yes, she's finally here. I kind of knew she was going to be in this episode, but I was so excited to see her anyways. Mm-hmm. And it was really good to see them together. Like, finally felt real again. Do you agree?
I did feel like it was real, but kind of jumping ahead a little bit. Nick's reaction wasn't exactly what I was expecting it to be. I saw his face when she walked in the door, and even though he explained it to Jess as it being like such an exciting moment for him, his face was kind of like in a daze. Did you catch that?
I actually don't think I really caught on to that as much as you did.
Because the way that when the camera panned over, you saw everybody's, like, you saw behind her. So you saw her come in, and then you saw behind her. And if you looked, you could see through this, like, one little hole, and you saw his face, and he just kind of looked like... So for me, I wasn't convinced.
It wasn't that like, oh, like,
yeah,
love.
like,
that's true. Because I mean, didn't notice a moment like that.
Yeah, and obviously we know Nick to be not very much so like emotional and really react like that. But I was expecting a little bit more reaction on his face as she walked in the door, and I think it was just kind of, but maybe that's just how they're...
Well, but Reagan didn't really have a reaction like that too.
Yeah.
She came in kind of like complaining.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
Yeah, which I guess we can talk about, we'll get back more to that because we have to talk about the Secret Santa and how all of this came about, which Jess is in love with Christmas and she wants to make every holiday, let's just say holiday, she's obsessed with. And so we see them talking on Halloween about possibly not celebrating Christmas. What? That's insane. How
I know.
Could you
I was
not?
really confused. Why would they want to cancel it? They never gave a reason, really, besides the fact that it's just
stressful,
commercialized.
Yeah, it was just stressful, and they didn't want to do it. But Jess clearly convinces them that they have to, which kind of ends up leaving her in the dust, which made me really, really upset.
It made me so sad when Winston got 2 gifts.
I know.
Like, what?
That was actually heartbreaking for me because you could see it in her eyes that she just wasn't happy. But you know, we see some sort of happiness for Jess, which we do see in her relationship with Robbie. You know, he's growing on me. What about you?
He is really growing on me too, and there's so much more about him that I still want to know, which I think is so exciting. It's so intriguing to keep being like, oh, and you did hot yoga with Darlene Love, and like all these like random things, and like he knew the person at the bar, and like
I literally was just saying that how like Robbie knows everybody. It's like, what? I really am excited to see like what more he does know and what he does. But
well, then it makes me wonder. It's like, why are you single?
Yeah,
you know, or like why was he single for so long? Essentially,
yeah.
Why did he join his singles group and all these things when he's truly an amazing human?
Actually, a great catch, and obviously, you guys could see that he's growing on me because at first I was like, I'm not really feeling it, but I feel like when he walks into a scene, he makes me excited. I'm like, Robbie's here.
Oh, you're back. Yes.
Yeah. Which she was
like when he burst through the doors on the like he was on their deck or whatever.
Yeah,
and then he like came through.
I was like, Robbie, he's here. Yes. Which, yeah, so I'm really excited. I really am happy that they've kept him on more episodes now, because I feel like that's what was kind of hard for us, is because we kept wanting Nick and Jess to happen because we didn't get to see the progression of Jess and Robbie. Would you agree?
Yeah, or just any relationship with Jess.
Yeah.
So it's good to see something now. It doesn't make me feel as sad that she still has feelings for Nick, which, can we talk about it now?
Yes, let's go for it. So obviously, you know, Jess's gift falls through, and so she has to figure out something else it falls through because he's already bought in those glasses, which I'd like to know what
was that?
If you guys know if there was something in like past episodes that maybe we missed out on, please let us know. Please comment or join us in our live chat, because I was confused. It came out of nowhere, like these sunglasses were something that
it was like everyone knew about them but me. I was like, what?
Like that he'd been longing for, but clearly him already having these glasses that she had bought him led them to have this discussion, because she had gotten Reagan to come out from Seattle to come to the loft, and they had a moment in the bar. So that moment, what were you expecting to happen?
I was not expecting what did happen to happen. Because I thought Nick was so oblivious to all the little minor things that have been going on between the two of them. Mm-hmm. So for him to come out and be like, oh, you don't think I've noticed? Like, you've been so squirrely and weird ever since I got back from New Orleans. It's kind of like, what? You did?
Totally.
And just completely ignored it. I think it's really interesting that it finally came out in such a heated moment when Jess was like trying to do something so nice for him.
And it wasn't just like, oh, you've been squirrely. It was like, you're not happy for me.
Yeah,
all
like,
of these
what
things.
What do you want from me?
Yeah, and it was crazy because we obviously haven't seen too much of Nick and Jess, and this is another thing we've been longing for, is a one-on-one discussion with Nick and Jess, and we thought something was going to happen.
Yeah.
Honestly, there was a moment that I thought, like, obviously, I feel like Jess, like, all her emotions towards Nick are so far back in her head, she hasn't really had time to think about it again. So what seems on the surface, I truly thought there was going to be some sort of confession between either of them.
I did too, like, once it started, but she also looked so stunned at the same time, because I think, like, we were feeling confused why he wasn't picking up on anything. I think she did as well.
Yeah, and I think she was expecting him to be like, what, are you in love with me? And then she'd be like, I gotta go. And then that would
like be so awkward like she always does.
Yeah, exactly. So just like saying all of those things that he's seeing in her, I thought there was going to be way more to it. But the way that it ended and she was just like, hey, and he apologized, makes me wonder if we're probably not, like, do you think they're going to revisit the Nick and Jess relationship?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Especially because it sounded like even though he said Robbie did, he was the one who decided to do that huge, elaborate ending for her.
Yeah. Do
you agree?
I do. That moment between them, it just like makes me nervous, because he said you always, there was something he said that she always does. It was like, you're never happy with me. I'm never good enough. There's never enough for you, from him. And so it just kind of worried me, because I was like, if that's something that they're having now, I feel like it's going to be a while before we revisit the Nick and Jess thing again. But this could be a tipping point, though. We've gotten a lot, and like, you know, I think maybe because of this whole elaborate scheme that Nick put together, we could see some sort of reaction from Jess, like, whoa.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That's going to be interesting.
Maybe Jess will overthink it, like she always does.
Yeah, exactly. But for me, it left that moment between them. I was really excited they were having it, but I was expecting more, I guess, from Jess than just, like, walking away. But it left it on a cliffhanger for me. I don't really know.
No, I agree. Mm-hmm. But maybe that shows that Jess isn't, or those feelings aren't as strong anymore for her to not, like, be kind of like caught in her own self.
Yeah. And
because she just kind of like left.
That is true.
Like, very powerful for her to do, like, confidently. She didn't like get all Jessie.
And you're saying like how she always gets caught up on herself. She continuously said, I like Reagan. I want you to be with Reagan.
Yeah.
So it was really interesting to me to see that, like, whoa, she keeps backing Reagan up. And I don't know, as much as like Jess is doing these things for Nick, I'm like, that has got to be so tough to constantly be fighting for the person you're in love with to be with their loved one. I could not even imagine going through that.
No, it would suck.
Yeah.
And it's just weird, too. And, I mean, I don't know. It's just a weird situation. I mean, it's not realistic, in my opinion, either.
Yeah, of course.
Like, who lives with their ex?
That would be really tough. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I think we talked about this like in the earlier, like the beginning of the season. We were like, I couldn't imagine being like that close with an ex because you have to relive everything all day, and like seeing them with an ex. It's one thing on social media, but like seeing them in person together and like fighting for her to come to the house. But I don't know.
But maybe that goes to show, too, that maybe Jess has slowly started to lose those feelings, especially now that she's in a relationship with Robbie and she seems really happy and she's realizing he's such a great guy and maybe a better guy than Nick was, at least for her.
Yeah. So, but I am glad, like, we had two great things come out of this that we've been wanting, is that Reagan was back and we got a moment between Nick and Jess. We are getting somewhere.
This back.
Yes, that was so exciting. So next is just Allie. We just need Allie to come back. But speaking of Allie, Winston and Schmidt go on a hunt to find this perfect gift for Cece because his order came to the house, but unfortunately Schmidt turned it away because he has too many alias names that they just can't keep him straight.
What was it? It was retired. What was it? Admiral Jay Garageru?
Yes, Jay Garageru. Like, I don't even know where he comes up with this stuff. Gotta love Winston for it.
Sense.
Like, no sense at all. But Winston and Schmidt, I like we've said so many other episodes, like I love Winston so much. I love how he just keeps getting like more moments and more moments. But I thought what they were bringing up with the whole like kind of back talking the whole online shopping thing, I thought was so interesting for them to bring up because the whole brick and mortar thing, it's so true. No one really, I mean, people go to the mall, but everything's online these days.
It's so true. I actually was dealing with this today because I had a Christmas present that was shipped to my house and no one was there to sign for it, so I had to go to the UPS store to pick it up, and it was like the worst part of my day because I was like, this is so annoying.
Yeah, and like going to the UPS and then you have to like, it's kind of a hassle. But yeah, I just thought it was funny because I know that like I used to work in retail, and I remember sometimes like hearing, I guess it depends on where you work and where you're going, obviously, but sometimes the holidays aren't as crazy as you'd expect them to be. So I just thought it was interesting that they brought that up in the writing, that they would talk about like how brick and mortar stores, it's like, oh, well, I'm not doing anything, which I know they are. They're all working so hard this time of year, but it was just kind of an interesting thing to bring up. But going back to the beanbag chairs and everything, Winston is so creative. And I thought this was a great time for him to really show, like, Schmidt, we do have a relationship. We are friends. Because I feel like Schmidt...
It was refreshing to see that.
Yeah. It was, like, because Schmidt, I think, forgets that, like, they had a friendship when, like, before they got married. Mm-hmm. And they had the whole moment of getting the dress and everything, which turned out to be totally terrible. But it was good. But, you know, I think overall, like, what was your favorite part about this whole episode?
Well, obviously, seeing Reagan was my favorite.
Yeah,
because
that was great.
I keep wanting that to happen, and it finally did. But I also was really excited that Nick and Jess had a moment. Mm-hmm. I think my overall favorite moment was the end because it was such a feel-good moment. It was like, oh my God, they like all came together for her, and it was just so beautiful and sweet, and they did all the things she had remembered from her childhood. I think that's really cool because it just shows how good of friends they are, that even in like those little moments, they're still like listening to her, even though they're making fun of her.
Oh, completely. And I think one of my favorite parts about New Girl is it like makes me feel like I'm a part of their family. And it always makes me feel good. This totally might sound completely cheesy, but I am obsessed with them and like the feel good moments that they have, because every time like someone's struggling or someone feels left out, they always know a way to bring it back to make sure that person feels special. And that's exactly what happened to Jess. And everything that it was funny because for a second it took me a moment because I was looking at Ferguson and I was like, what's going on? And then I realized they were like reenacting the moments she was talking about when she was a child. And this is exactly what they did too when, I don't know if you remember a couple of seasons ago when they went to Candy Cane Lane and all the lights were off. And then Nick like missed his flight and then they went back and they got the neighborhood to turn on the lights for a little bit. So these moments, like, they're just so amazing, and they just bring me so much joy and happiness.
And I think it's really cool when it happens to Jess, because I think Jess is kind of the primary, like, caregiver, essentially. Like, she's always the one making sure that everyone's doing well, that everyone's having fun, that everyone's going to be okay. So I think it's, like, really special, too, when it's like the tables reverse and they're taking care of her, because that doesn't happen every
and that was exactly what she deserved in this episode, because here we were, everybody wanted to cancel Christmas, and then Jess is the only one that wanted to do Christmas, and then it kind of backfired on her because she was the only one that didn't get a gift. Granted, like, she was like, it's not about the gifts, it's not about anything, but like, that is, like, a terrible moment when you're, like, so excited. Like, I know I'm, like, so excited about Christmas, but if I were to, like, plan something, and if it was just me, it would be fine. But, like, if someone were to miss it, that's, like, one of my biggest fears. Because, like, I have to do, like, a family secret Santa. So I'm like, if someone gets left out, that is literally, like, almost
so
like
sad.
It's such a sad moment. But I thought this episode was overall such a feel-good, so amazing. Gotta love it. But maybe we should get into some Schmidt quotes.
Yes!
He had a couple of funny ones. They weren't like, I forget, where was mine? And there weren't like a lot of standalones, but there was a couple good digs. What was your favorite one?
Mine was, and now that I'm reading it back, I don't know if I wrote it down right. You screwed the pooch on this one?
That was mine! Literally, that's exactly what I had. Yeah, he was like, you screwed the pooch on this one. He was, like, really upset because when Cece wasn't going to have a gift. Yeah, well, I guess.
What does that mean?
I don't even know.
What does that mean? I have no idea. It was so random. I was like, what?
I don't know what that means either, but I just thought it was funny the way that he said it. And I feel like that's what Schmidt, sometimes his lines don't even really make sense, but like the way he says it, I'm like, okay, that was hilarious. His comedy is just striking. It's amazing. But overall, this episode, just super happy. I'm overall really just excited to see where the rest of the seasons goes, because we've gotten a lot of our closed like loops that we've been waiting for, and we've seen a lot of progressions. So yeah, I guess it's all uphill from here, huh? And we're already really excited about Robbie and Jess now. It's like, took us a while to get our feet into like liking him.
We've come a long way, Allie.
We have. We have, because at first we were like, no, he needs to go. But loving the Robster, loving him. But
yeah, it's so fun to see this new side of him, and I'm excited to see more of Reagan and Nick. I'm glad she's like kind of back in the picture. It's just good to see her face again.
Yeah, and just to hear her name get brought up. So I guess the next round we're gonna have to have Allie back, because I love Allie and Winston. They're so adorable. But I guess this should bring us to some predictions, or more so things that we want to happen, possibly.
Wishes.
Yeah, wishes are usually what goes on.
All right, Allie, what do you got?
All right, my predictions. All right, let's see here. I have a feeling that Nick and Jess, this like conversation that they had, I know we talked a lot about like ups and downs of it, but I think this conversation essentially is gonna bring her to like having the whole thought process again, to where she's gonna need to talk to Cece. So like,
we haven't had a Jess Cece moment in a while.
No, we haven't. You're right.
Cece hasn't really had a moment with anyone in a while.
Yeah, just with Winston the last episode.
That's true. Besides,
No, but that was really small. It was like really minuscule. So yeah. So I think maybe we'll have a huge realization, but maybe I'm hoping maybe an episode down, so we can get one more like good Robbie and Jess episode going before we like figure out maybe she's still in love with Nick. But I'd really like to see that, or like that be talked about again. And then as for, let's see, Winston and Allie. Maybe Allie will come back in like 2 episodes from now as well, and maybe they'll be talking about marriage.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then Nick, with him and Reagan, I feel like right now there isn't anything dramatic happening and things are going well for them, so I think they're going to keep them as a relationship for a while. So I think my main things are just with like Jess kind of figuring out the Nick thing, and then with Allie and Winston getting possibly married. What about you, Tessa?
I like those. I'm going to steal one of them.
Okay.
Because I do want to see Jess's emotions unfold.
Completely,
Whether that be with Robbie or with Nick.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel like, I just got like this gut feeling that
Okay.
Nick and Jess are like not ever going to be together again.
Yeah, no, I was
And I don't know how I feel about that because I want them to be kind of, but at the same time, I just got like a bad taste in my mouth about it in this episode.
Totally, because he said, like, you can't ever, there's nothing, I'm never good enough for you. I can't ever get the words out. I'm never good enough for you. So, like,
What
that
do you
was
want
kind of,
from me?
yeah, so that was kind of like a, I think they're just like that couple, like, they're just so good together, but they're toxic for each other.
They're so good that they're not good.
Yeah, but they're so cute. I just love them so much. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I guess so. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure that you comment, tweet us on Twitter. You can like AfterBuzz TV on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on all that good stuff. Even Snapchat. You can follow me personally on Twitter at Nasta and on Instagram at AllieGirl. And Tessa, where can they find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Tessa_Cavel.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff. We would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.